Raghunath, and welcome to our first edition of Yoga for Busy Parents. 30-minute flow. It's going to be intermediate to advanced, which means I'll always give an option for you to make it easier. Some of us want to make it a little easier, and some of us need to make it a little harder. Okay? So I'll give an option for whatever you need, and we're trying to upgrade our foundation of our body, of our breath, of our strength, and we're going to put it all together. If you got kids like me, you need to get a good solid 30 minutes in of a yoga practice just to cope with life. So I've designed this especially for you. Okay, we're going to start today in a child's pose. By the way, here's a block I have. It's quite professional looking block. You don't need a professional looking block. You can use a big book if you have. You can use a pot. Whatever you need to do it. You don't have to have all the appropriate yoga gear. Just use something that you can use a piece of wood from your basement. But I've got this yoga block, and I'm going to first just sit on it. Now, some of us don't even need this block. It's not a big deal for you to sit between your heels like this. Some of you, it's a very big deal to do this. So you can put a block down like this. Some of you, to do this is a big deal. So you put the block up higher like this. And if that's a big deal, you raise the block even more. Okay? So I'm going to start here today. I'll keep the block a little lower for myself. Sit up tall, roll my shoulders open, stare at one point in the wall, and then just start to breathe. I'm going to get into my deep breathing. If I start to just change my breath, that will change my entire day. So I'm going to breathe as deep as I can through my nose. In our vinyasa yoga practice, all the breathing is done exclusively through the nose. The mouth is closed. And this trains ourselves how to breathe in the regular world. Because in the regular world, our nose becomes our filter. And if you live in a major city, it's important to start breathing like this. So I breathe as deep as I can. So maybe I will count to 8 on an inhale or 10 on an inhale. And on my exhale, I'm emptying my body of all the air. Usually when you tell people to breathe deep, they go, huh? And they draw their tummy in, but it's the opposite. I'm filling up and expanding as I inhale, and I exhale. I'm pressing all the air out. And after about 10 of these big inhales and exhales, I'm going to move my block away and come to a child's pose. So I'm going to leave my knees open. I'm going to sit back towards my heels, drop my head on the floor, walk my hands forward. Find that same deep breath again. By the way, you're still down on the floor. I'm looking at the camera talking. Now from here, I'm going to take a big inhale, press through my palms, and come right into our down dog pose. Our down dog should look like an inverted V, like a mountain. I can draw my tummy in here. I can go up high on my tiptoes as if someone's got me by my hips and pulling my hips up and back. And my back is getting long. So you shouldn't have this hunch in your back. Some of you will create a hunch there. If you're one of those persons, bend your knees a little. It might feel better. I want to get a long back. You can even sort of think like a back bend almost. Straighten your arms. Wrap your triceps towards your cheeks. Now I'm going to just shift to plank and breathe here. So just to stay in plank is tough to do. I have to draw my tummy in. I slightly look forward in front of my hands. And I start to breathe as deep as I can. So I'm not going to breathe so loud, but you hear, because or else it will get so loud it will bother you guys just hearing me breathe. But you're breathing as deep as you can through your nose. I'm staying here in plank, and it becomes a little exhausting. I'm going to always try to keep that long, deep breath going. Then I take a big inhale, and on my exhale, I pull back and up to downward facing dog. Draw my tummy in, press through my arms. If I need to, I can bend my knees a little. Super straight arms. Take a big inhale again. Shift to plank again. So it doesn't seem like I'm doing much. But if you're doing this with me, you can tell it gets a little exhausting quick. Now, if that's not a big deal, let's just take a push-up here. So if you're not good at push-ups, this is how you get good at push-ups. Watch. You lower down to your knees and push right back up. If you want to get good at push-ups, this is how you get good at push-ups. You don't get good at push-ups by not doing push-ups. If you want to try one with straight legs, you can do it with straight legs. You slightly pitch forward, keep the elbows above the wrists as much as you can, and then push right back up. Then everybody come back to down dog. So during the practice today, if I say come to plank, you might have to just do this because your shoulders are exhausted. Or you might like doing this. Or you might want to throw a push-up in. Make it your own practice. You can make it a little easier. You can make it a little tougher. Now watch. I'm going to start to walk my feet forward and hang here. Put a little bend in my knees. Grab my elbows. Start to breathe free and deep. My mouth is closed. Now I'm just going to bend my knees. This is hard to do for a lot of people, but it's a very therapeutic way to sit. Take a big inhale, reach up high. Pull right to your heart. I'm going to go right back down to that squatting position and wake up my legs. Inhale up. Draw your tummy in, fold down. Place your hands on your knees, look up, bend your knees, come down. Inhale, reach your hands up high. Pull to your heart. Inhale. Draw your tummy in, fold down. Hands on your knees, look up. Make a little back bend in your back. Bend your knees, come down. Inhale, reach up. Draw your tummy in, fold down. Hands on your knees, look up. Bend your knees, come down. Inhale, reach up. Draw your tummy in, fold down. Hands on your knees, look up. Bend your knees, come down. So it's just simple motions like this, tied in with my breathing. Generally on the exhale, on the coming down, we exhale. Generally when I look up, I inhale. One more. Now, let's take it back through this whole sequence. Dropping and folding, hands on the knees looking up, bend your knees coming down. Hands to the floor, stepping back to a plank, staying for 3 breaths. Maybe taking a push-up, maybe doing a push-up on my knees, or just staying here, and then pulling back to down dog. Dropping to your knees. Bringing your hands to namaste. Now keeping my hips above my knees, I start to place my hands on my butt and roll my shoulders open. If you can curl your toes under. Work for your heels. This is our camel pose. If it's not a big deal, I can release the toes and come down. But don't let the butt climb back here. Bring the hips above the knees. Heart, instead of thinking collapsing here, I'm thinking bring my heart up high. Broaden your shoulders. Again, if this is too hard, the toes curl underneath, or the hands can even stay on the butt. Take a big inhale. Hands to the floor. Look up. Downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Pull your butt back. Look forward towards your thumbs. Watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to just hop forward. You know where I learned this from? My children. They always do stuff like this. When they're little, they're always just hopping around the house, back and forth. You know what happens if you do that? You get very, very strong legs. Watch again. I bend my knees, and I hop right to where I was, squatting at the front of the mat. From squatting, I'm going to reach up high. I'm going to pull to my heart. I'm going to reach up high again. Drop and fold low. Hands on my knees, I'm going to look up. Exhale, come back down to squatting. Hands to the floor. Step back to plank. Take a push-up or just lower down and then do a cobra. Take a little back bend. Pull back to down dog. I'm going to do 5 breaths here. I'm going to bend my knees. Look how far back my butt is. I'm going to jump forward. I'm going to inhale up. I'm going to pull to my heart. I'm going to inhale high. I'm going to drop and fold low. I'm going to place my hands on my knees and look up on an inhale. I'm going to drop low on an exhale. I'm going to walk back to plank. I'm going to inhale first, lower down or do a push-up and then lower down. Then I'm going to do up dog. Now up dog, I'm going to straighten my arms almost like I'm doing a handstand. So handstand means straight arms, shoulders above the elbows, above the wrist. I think I just burped. Elbows, look at my heels. Don't let your heels come out. Draw them in and then pull back. Then 5 breaths. Now I use those 5 deep breaths to keep everything calm because I never want my heartbeat to be like, if I get my heartbeat like this, I have to come back down here and take a little break. Now watch again. Last time I pull back, I spring, and I squat down. Hands to namaste. Let's grab our toes, this, and then just fold down. Pull yourself down. Hands on your knees. Bend your knees. Now, with my thighs rolling in, don't let your knees open out. Reach your hands up high. Straight arms. Let's stay here. My heart will be parallel to the wall. My hands shooting up in the sky. And then I'm going to bend my knees and reach up a little higher. Draw my tummy in. Long, straight torso. Drop your butt even lower. This is hard to do. Inhale. Straight legs, dive down. Hands on the knees, look up. Drop your bottom. Reach up high. Get my legs a little stronger today. Drop a little lower. Long arms. Breathe as deep as you can. Inhale. Straighten your legs, dive down. Hands on your knees, look up. Bend your knees. Reach up high. Inhale. Straight legs, dive down. Walk back to plank. Look forward. Stay here. Now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to just tip. My heels just tip, and my left arm comes up high. So this is called our side plank or Vashista. It's easier with my feet split. If you want to make it harder, the ankles touch. If you want to make it harder, you can bring a hand here. Ooh. If you want to make it harder, you grab the foot. There's always ways to make it harder. Now, if this might be too hard, the whole thing might be too hard. That's okay. You can put this foot here. What you don't want to do in this pose is start to drop down here. Or you don't want to crunch here, or you don't want to climb here. So whatever you need to do to keep this torso straight, even if it's here, that's okay if it's here, as long as this part, this stick, the hand above the hand, the chest long, the butt's not drooping or climbing. And you're looking up and breathing. And then come to plank. Stay here. Breathe. Take a push-up if you want. Tip the other way. Same thing, of your choice. You can even post this leg. I'm not drooping, I'm not climbing, I'm not crunching. You might find that one side is a lot easier than another side. Take a big inhale. Back to plank, good. Stay here or take a push-up. And then everybody low down. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog. Walk your hands backward like you're walking down a ladder. Grab a hold of your elbows, let your head and neck go, and just rest here. Keeping the heart beating slow. So even though it appears like a workout, it's more like a meditation class. After a while, my yoga practice is a meditation class. First, it's like a meditation class, then it becomes a meditation class. Hanging here. Bend your knees, come down low. Hands to namaste. We're going to try something fun here. Fingertips forward. I'm just going to go like this. Hop around my feet. Hop around my feet. Hands to here. Inhale up. Pull to your heart. Reach up. Here's your chair. Straighten your legs. Hands on your knees. Look up. Walk back to plank. Take a push-up if you want. Lower down. I skipped the push-up. I don't know if you noticed that. Downward facing dog. Now this time I'm going to lift the right foot up high in the sky. Bring it forward like a sprinter. Stay on my fingertips. Just to do this is tough. Look at this ankle, or the knee rather. It goes right above the ankle. And then the hip, my butt, is in line with my knee, so I'm not up here. This is flat like a tabletop. Go to your fingertips, look forward. If it's not a big deal, reach one hand forward. You'll notice just to reach that one hand is difficult. If that's not a big deal, both hands forward, long arms. Reach forward, strong arms. The arms are lazy. They want to droop. Don't let them droop. Strong arms. Fingertips to the floor. Drop the back knee. Press the heel back. This time I'm going to bring the arms out wide here. If this gets too much, you can drop the back knee. You can even come up for a second. Come back down and reach the arms out long. Make your chest broad. Try not to collapse here. As if there's energy going through the fingertips. And now finally, hand down, right hand high. It's my twist. Try to get my chest open to the side wall, just like we did in this pose, remember? It's the same thing here, but now it's a twisting lunge, hand above the hand. Take a big inhale, reach higher. Exhale, hand down. Step back to plank, lower down. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Reach your left foot high. Lunge it through, stay on your fingertips. Stay here or reach long. You can have one hand or two hand. It's your choice how tough you want to make it. It's your choice how much you want to back off. And sometimes when we're in a class, it's sort of like it becomes a little competitive. It seems like everything I did my entire life has been competitive since childhood. Even my parents pushed us to be competitive. So if you grew up in a family like that, or if you grew up in a culture like that, it's nice to try your best, but to let go of what everybody else is doing, okay? So I don't even have to compete with myself. It's actually a relief. I can feel where my body's at today. That doesn't mean I'm lazy about it. That means I try my best, and I back off when I have to back off, and I turn it up when I have to turn it up. Okay, so we went to here. I'm going to straighten this leg if I need to take a break. And then I rebend it. And now my hand's out wide. This is hard to do. I have to balance here. Remember, I want to collapse. Don't collapse. Tell your body what to do. You don't listen. You don't listen to your senses and mind. My senses and mind always want an easy way out. I have to make this a little stronger. And now I take my twist here. Chest is open. My knee wants to flare. Don't let your knee flare. Just like this. Take a big inhale. Left hand to the floor. Step back to plank. Take a push-up. I'm going to skip it. You can take it. And then lower down. Up dog, straight arms. Downward facing dog, pull back. Watch. Immediately bend your knees, look forward. Spring forward. Step back. Pull back, look forward. Spring forward. Hands to namaste. Step back. We're going to do this 5 times. You're going to thank me for it. Spring forward. Look back. Now you notice when I spring forward, watch what I don't do. I don't let go of the floor like this. My arms are super strong. Matter of fact, they're straight. So when I'm landing, I'm doing work even when I land. I could even jump higher, watch. The landing's soft. Was that 5? I'm going to do one more, I lost count. Just even like this though, very nice to do. Now reach up high and pull to your heart. All that jumping, my heart is racing. Now I have to slow down my heart. Toes touch. Knees touch. Inhale like a chair. Straight legs dive. Look up and lengthen. Walk back to plank. Take a push-up if you want. Take a push-up on your knees if you want. And then lower down. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Reach the right foot up high. Lunge it through. This time, up with the hands. 3 breaths here. Drop. 3 breaths here. Big inhales. Big exhales. If you want the block, you use a block. 3 breaths here. I don't like the block. I'm not going to use it. Hand comes down. Step back to down dog. You can skip the whole vinyasa, or you can add an extra push-up and then go through the vinyasa. So you make it easier or you make it tougher. Left foot up high. Lunge it through. 3 breaths here. And when I say 3 breaths, I mean 3 deep yogi breaths. Which I'm not really doing. I'm doing just regular breathing, but I should be doing deeper breaths. The talking and the doing the pose is a little harder than you think. Good. From here, long arms. Reach them away from each other. There's a good breath. Next inhale, I'm coming up. Both hands down. Step back to plank. Do a push-up through the vinyasa, or just pull back to down dog. That's your choice. Walk your hands back. Hang here. Hold your elbows. Again, bend your knees, come down to squatting. We're going to go 3 times up and down with our legs. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Walk your hands forward like you're walking up a ladder. We're going to jump 3 times forward like we did earlier. Step back. Step back. Step back. Just like that. Hands to namaste. From now, I'm going to just sit on my butt. I'm going to bring my heels out wide. This is a lot harder to do for most people. I can never do this. And you know what? Want to hear some great news? Your body changes. Isn't that incredible news? Your body can actually change. I can never sit like this. Matter of fact, due to a car seat, oftentimes we sit like this. If you're one of these people that has a hard time sitting up straight, my sweaty forehead, I'm blaming it on the lights. If you're a person that has a hard time sitting like this, place your hands behind your back. Do a little back bend. Look at me flex my feet. Flexing my feet means I bring my feet back like this. I just sit up tall. Drop my knees. Almost like I'm puffing up my chest like this. This is hard to do for most people. Now, if it's not a big deal, keeping the integrity of the legs, where the thighs spiral back, I start to walk my hands forward. Some of you, this is not a big deal. But wherever we are, whether it's here or here, we're going to feel it. Now we're just going to stay in this pose, and we're going to breathe. I'm going to not jump around at all. I'm just hanging out here, and I'm breathing as deep as I can. Here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to come down with your head and crunch your back like this. Better just to sit up tall and think about dropping your heart down. You can even stay like this. Get back into your breathing. Actively bring your toes towards your ear and lift your thighs up off your knees. If we don't use our body on a regular basis, these parts of the body become useless. Does that make sense? If we don't use the body, it becomes useless. So this is a process of waking up a sleeping body. And maybe I haven't used it in a week or in a month or since I was in high school or when I was more athletic or before I had kids, and then these kids came along and they ruined my whole... No. What will happen is we become busy and we become dedicated and we make these beautiful sacrifices. And the sacrifices are actually beautiful to raise a family. I have 5 kids. It's actually a beautiful sacrifice. But unless I'm taking care of my body, unless I'm taking care of my spirit, unless I'm taking care of my mind, I have nothing to give them. They're just going to get the worst part of me. So it's important in my life to carve some time out for myself and self-care. Because when there's self-care, then I'm qualified to care for others. Does that make sense? Good. So now I'm going to come up. I'm going to come here. Bring my feet together. Stay. This is hard to do also. And then I'm going to walk my hands forward if I can. And stay and breathe here. It doesn't seem like much what we're doing, but it's these little bits of daily care. It starts to open up the body again and wake up the body. And it doesn't matter where your body's at, your body will start to change. You do this class do this class every day. Do this class every day for a week. You'll be amazed what happens to your body. All the stuff that's become difficult becomes hard. Or all the stuff that's difficult becomes easy after a while. Just like riding a bike. Remember the first time you rode a bike? It's very difficult. And then all of a sudden you don't think it's easy to ride a bike. All these things are like this. And we slowly and slowly raise the potential of this body. Because most people just chose to lower the bar. Lower their... not even investigate their potential. And because of that, we've lowered our standard and thus our quality of existence within this body. And then I'm going to come up. Place my fingertips behind my back. Make a little back bend here. Watch what I do with my legs. I'm just going to hold them just like this, or the palms of the feet. It's almost the same as this, isn't it? It's just like this. It's a little easier version. The palms of the feet are straight up in the sky. And then I'm going to bring my feet together. Which is right. It's the same as this. When I'm laying on my back, they're the same poses, but sort of a more comfortable version. And then I'm going to do a twist. Very similar that we did in our lunge. I bring my knees up high. I got to try to keep my spine. You see what I did? I moved my butt back so it's in line with my head. And then bring my hands out wide like a T. After about 5 breaths, I'm coming up and over to the other side. I'm not going to do it, but you can do it. Spine is long, hands out wide. So I'm always trying to keep this geometry of the body. Geometry means there's perpendiculars and there's parallels. Perpendicular to the floor, parallel to the floor. Okay, there's an authentic integrity, an authentic geometry of the body that I'm reawakening. It's sort of been lost. And I'm going to reclaim that. Good, and now we're going to do just a simple Shavasana, only 1 minute. That's laying on your back, keeping everything calm. Your palms are up, just like you're